So welcome, my name's Rachel Shields from Knowing in Nature. I'm a descendant of the Walewan and Gamilaroi people from northwest New South Wales here in Australia. And today we're in beautiful Djabugai Country at Stoney Creek, and I'm gifted enough to be here to share story and song with you with a beautiful friend who can introduce himself and tell you where he's from and what he's sharing with the world at this point in time.
So my name's Johannes. I was born in Sydney. I stayed there for 14 years, and then I moved to an island for 7 months and lived there for about 7 months, and I landed in Cairns, and I've been here for almost 15 years, apart from a small time I spent in Brisbane. I've been teaching music for almost the same amount of time, now I'm running a business, sharing music with people.
And the bugs in nature.
And the bugs in nature, they're all over me. Maybe it's because I'm wearing blue.
Maybe, that's what march flies love. Blue.
Yeah.
So it's march fly season in North Queensland at the moment, and we're going to be adding sounds of slaps of what's going on now. So what's the main thing how do you, like I know we know each other through music, through performance, and I'm aware that you're about to embark on using sound as a form of therapy for people.
I've always considered music to be therapeutic. When I was doing gigs and everything, I used to do corporate gigs, corporate events, playing at banquets and weddings and all this sort of thing, and I would do primarily solo gigs, playing flamenco and classical music, and my whole thing was about creating a vibe, and I didn't realize back then, I suppose, but even when I was younger, I would play music around my family, and when we would have people over, and I would consider it to be a kind of, it's a therapeutic thing for me and people. I've always thought it to be important to create a vibe of tranquility, or just, I was just into that, I think, for when I play music. I considered music to be something that's to entertain people. I wasn't into that.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for me I guess my experience has been a lot of self-development through the use of applying myself with sound and voice. So I've grown through that and faced myself in different ways through sound.
Yeah.
And so I was never able to subscribe to being a performer as such and an entertainer. It was just more like I'm actually sharing my inner world with you all now, and whether that's sitting here in the forest or someone's put a stage up and I happen to step up there, or that's how I relate to sound as well. Yeah, beautiful. So how do you intend to create those spaces for people as well?
Well, my intention is to create an environment where people feel safe and relaxed, really, so that they can kind of just reflect whatever they need to reflect. I've got a series of instruments I use, and for them, it's their interpretation. It's up to their own interpretation to how they perceive the sounds and how it affects them. I don't really. I avoid any kind of ideology or to set up some kind of preface, or this sound is going to do this thing to you. No. I produce sound in my way that I know, and the client or whoever's lying down interprets that in however they feel it beneficial for them.
Beautiful. However it speaks to them.
However it speaks to them. Yeah.
From.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that you're not putting any kind of overlay on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing at the moment. I mean, it's all in its infancy at the moment for me. I just kind of begun this particular work, but I'm really enjoying it, and I've had all kinds of different responses. Most people fall asleep, which is funny. They're still receiving the a medicine, if you will,
Yeah.
or however you like to perceive it.
Well, sleep is a relaxed state. A relaxed state is a place where our own, I guess our own body intelligence can reorganize itself and our nervous system can settle, and therefore we can better resource from within ourselves. And like you're saying, you create the space, just like nature's creating this space right now. So that's where I guess beauty can occur, and the medicine can happen from within as well, by being met gently from without. Yeah, and that's beautiful. Yeah, that's really lovely. You want to share something
Sure.
from where this space is speaking towards you and where you feel met with the sound as well?
Yeah, well, this definitely inspires me. Places like this will inspire me to play for sure.
Yeah.
Do you feel inspired to play
I'm funny.
some?
I do. I don't know how to, because I'm so simple in my knowledge base on the guitar. So my application is I can just play something repetitious over and over, but
That works for me.
Yeah, all right, because I don't know how to, I don't understand how to register theoretically what I'm hearing and apply it to the guitar, but I can definitely play something repetitiously.
Yeah, one thing I noticed when I was playing solo guitar and all those years ago, I learned lots of songs and all kinds of theory and learned how to improvise and all that sort of thing. But it was all solo stuff. I didn't really play guitar with other people very much.
Yeah.
But ever since I started playing cello, flute, drums, I felt more inspired to just gel with others and listen to what they're playing, and then just add the color instead of being the one to support the entire song.
Yeah.
So I liked that. I like just listening to what the other is playing, and
Okay, you can add some colour.
just add the color to
That's
it. Yeah,
gorgeous.
embellish it.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm just listening to the space, and I guess I go here first. about the whale song?
Oh, the whale song. Yeah, well, I've been listening to this album for years, ever since I was a kid. And I learned that they essentially sing a repetitive song that goes for at least an hour or so. And it's almost exactly the same. And it's really incredible, just the sheer dynamic of sound they produce. Yeah, so it quite literally is a song. I think, yeah, they might even have a verse, chorus, and all of those structures. Wouldn't be surprised.
I'm just thinking about, or imagining now, like the song lines that Indigenous populations use as a part of knowledge systems, really. Walking paths, seasonal knowledge is embodied in it all. Ways to do things are embodied in song lines. Perhaps the whale song is also part of their mapping system.
I'm not exactly sure how the song lines work exactly. So is it like someone might reach a certain part of country and then a song will pop into their minds?
It's more like a map that country is the map and the song is mapping the landscape. So that's one element of what a song line is. So you know your way. So if you learn the song, you've been given an oral map to travel country in its changing seasons as well.
Yeah.
The song will shift with the seasons. So that's just one aspect of a very complex and beautiful system of which song lines embody.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting. Sounds great.
It's nice talking through sound as well as word sound, like the wordless spaces that communicate so much and nothing at all at the same time, you know, it's just beautiful. I guess that's like the sound of the water flowing as well. It, for me, helps the mind unshape all the thoughts and just rest into the body, and then the body rests as
Keeps
a
things
whole.
flowing, no pun intended.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So nothing's getting stuck and solidifying, like crystallizing, you know. It's just that nice. I guess that's what your sound work will support people with as well.
Yeah, I noticed that. Especially drones. When you set up drones and you play music on top of it, the drone alone holds you in a particular space and allows you to be in it. And as soon as you break the drone or turn it down, you come out of it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing.
It is. I'm just imagining some of the first sounds from when we're in the womb space as well, and that embodied water and the sound of your own heartbeat and the sound of the world outside through that watery space, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, can we hear our own mother's heartbeat? I'm wondering, but...
I would say so, for sure.
Yeah, her conversations and the sounds of the world around us, and just how sound's been with us from the beginning. Yeah.
All this sound, all this vibration.
Yeah. Yeah, all the shapes and constructs and compressions at time as well. Yeah, some sounds make compressions happen. Yeah, some sounds trigger traumas, some sounds create trauma. So it's a really, it's a subtle landscape. Yeah, of shaping or unshaping. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Like the sound of a police siren. Wah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's definite trauma there.
Yeah, or even sounds of war, you know, sounds of war.
Oh yeah.
Definite. Yeah. I'm just going to listen to you for a minute.
Yeah, maybe I'll just hold some drones.
Hold some drones. It's fun. It creates...
He's making it up as he goes along.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love it. And it just brings so many pictures to life inside my imagination. I'm like, oh, stories are emerging. It's wonderful.
Yeah, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cello is my second instrument, so I'm not amazingly proficient at it. I don't consider myself to be a cellist, but I do have a cello and I do play it. How about you tell me a story? What is your story in this land?
In this Djabugai Country?
Yeah.
That's
What's
a good
your connection?
Story. Okay, thanks for the invitation. I'll share that. I guess it began as a child, and my family travelled a lot up and down this side of Australia. And so I have a younger brother, and my parents came up north and they found Kuranda, and they camped out at Big Sands.
Oh, cool! I love Big Sands.
In a big tent together, and that was their introduction to rainforest country. And so imagine that. Imagine arriving at Big Sands when you've come from somewhere other than that type of landscape, not rainforest country, not living by the river. And there was a beautiful elder. I'll mention his name, but I'm sure he's passed over now, so with respect, it's been many years since he's passed. His name was Bimbo, and he didn't have a tongue. So Bimbo would draw pictures in the sand to communicate with my mum and dad and my little brother. And one afternoon, Bimbo came along and he was, like trying to get their attention, and he indicated to them that the river was about to rise and they needed to move. So they packed everything up, and a flash flood came through, so they didn't get washed away. And after Mum and Dad had been up here for a short time, I was living at my grandmother's in Ecological Country, which is where, through my grandmother's line, and my mother, where we are descendants from. And she came and got me and brought me up to Far North Queensland, and we actually lived in the Daintree, on the beach in the big tent, and all over the place, Walsh River, Mitchell River, living in nature, listening to the sound of the water, enjoying the natural landscape as a means to living, and that's kind of how it began. And then when Mum and Dad had decided they'd had enough of travelling here, there and everywhere, they asked us where we'd like to live, and my brother and I said Kuranda. So we moved to Kuranda and really got into being among the people, among the Bamamari, the Djabugai people, learning language at school. We all learnt language back in that day as a part of the curriculum,
What's your ethnicity?
My ethnicity is through my mother's line, so my great-grandmother is full-blood Walloon woman, Gamilaroi. Through her, I believe my great-grandfather was a Gamilaroi man, and my great-grandmother's a Walloon woman, and my mother's father's an Irishman. So that's when the change came in, where we have, heritage from another continent. But I'm not sure what my actual birth father is, because I've not met him, and so I don't know about that information. But I feel strongly connected to this continent and all the different Indigenous countries throughout that I've travelled to, and spoke to the spirit of place, listened, sat with elders, sat with countrymen and countrywomen, and learnt through the people as much as possible in those time frames that I'm in those places, or learnt from the nature especially. Because everything is speaking, everything is humming, that vibration of its own presence is, to me, ever present. It's something that I'm sensitive to and harmonious with, I guess. It doesn't impact me in a way that's like overly empathic, so to speak. It's just a natural conversation, and when I walk through country, I feel very light. I don't feel like I'm stumbling through the landscape. I feel like I can run and jump, and because I feel like country's actually carrying me through the landscape. So if you can capture that through sound, that would be
so
beautiful.
You feel supported as opposed to something that's inhospitable or aggressive or
foreign.
Foreign.
It doesn't feel foreign whatsoever. I feel complete health in this environment, and when I'm in places that are contrast to this, in built-up areas or in a house, in a room, I feel comfortable as well, because I have this inside my physiology at all times. So that's taken time to recognize and to be present with. It's taken time to feel comfortable in myself, to know that that's always there.
Nice. Wow. What's the furthest away you've been from nature?
Well, this is a funny response, but true, because when I went to the Czech Republic, and that felt like the furthest away from nature I was, even though there was nature there. And it was just that the song of the landscape obviously is not the song of this landscape. But how I noticed that was, there just seems like so much was missing from the song over there, because the forests were nothing going on.
Missing.
Stillness, no birds, no animals in the areas that we went. And I travelled the entire country while I was there over 4 weeks. and occasionally saw a little squirrel running around. But when I came back to Australia and I was staying in the Central Coast, and there's a place that I go to that's much like this, it reminds me of here. I stood in that landscape, I closed my eyes and just, it's like I breathed, I became, let's say, more expanded, bigger. And as I did so, all the songs, it was like we had a conversation. And I started crying because I recognized how much of the song was missing from me, from being shaped by another landscape over 4 weeks. And I'd become, country shapes us. Country gives us language. The sounds in country form our languages, our spoken words. And I changed subtly, yet I noticed it when I was back in a contrast environment. And I could feel what was missing from my being that I'm, I guess, so accustomed to as the contribution and a part of the constitution of who I am in this landscape. Where I feel health and within myself. Yeah,
beautiful.
That was interesting.
Well, my father's Austrian and my mother's Australian, so I'm some kind of hybrid, but I feel quite connected to this land. I feel really, as you say, nurtured and supported, and I feel a lot of comfort in this environment. This has been what's shaped you from childhood, and from my understanding, Well, or were you in early years somewhere else? Everywhere I've ever lived, there's always been a large reserve connected to where I live, so I've always ventured off somewhere. And I have to say, this has been, living in Cairns has got to be the most exquisite place I've lived by comparison, for sure.
It's rich with life, Like we have the Daintree, all the far north has got some ancient life forms that still exist here. And like as far as the flora goes, and even some of, the cassowary is like a prehistoric bird to me when I look at it. And it's basically the Australian velociraptor. So we have that ancientness up here that's coexisting in the present moment with how life has shaped and formed itself in relation to what's going on around it as well, as in built up areas, the way humans conduct themselves in nature these days, all the extra vehicles and things like that. Nature responds to all of it. So pretty rich place to be, hey? Agreed. It's beautiful. I can't imagine myself living anywhere else. It would have to be tropical if I moved. But who knows? But I do love it here. I feel deeply connected, and I'm very grateful that I can enjoy this whenever I want. You can. You can. We all can if we choose to step outside the door. I went to Sydney for a short amount of time to study. And that was, I could feel it already after being away for about 3 weeks. I felt, I felt a longing to hang out in Davies Creek. That's a special place.
next concert?
Hey, right now. Tickets are free.
One time only.
This is my favourite place to play.
Yeah.
Just like this. If you could, like, as who you are right now in this very moment, sum it all up in relation to your journey, relationship, experience with sound, and what you would share as the wisdom from all that, what words would you share?
What words? Well, it sounds cliche, but I'm a firm believer that music is the universal language. Sound is the universal language. Everybody feels it. It connects people, unites people. People feel something. Something that's real, and that's what's really important to me. Is when I play music, I want people to feel something. And that could be whatever, but as long as it's something that's real. Yeah. So music is authenticity, perhaps.
Beautiful. Yeah.
That's a lot of things.
It's beautiful.
Music is the multitudinous individuation of the singularity, experiencing life sequentially, simultaneously.
That's the kind of thing we want to hear. Beautiful. It's the same thing you just said before. Music is authenticity.
It's a spiritual word salad.
Yeah. And it's deep. It can be as shallow or as deep as you like to be.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. Music can be all of it.
Yeah.
It can be in tune and out of tune, as I have clearly demonstrated.
I like that. It's cool because it's just like walking in life.
It's just raw.
Yeah, we walk in life and sometimes we whoops,
Yeah.
but we like our song anyway. Beautiful, mate, beautiful. I'd like to thank you for sharing. It's beautiful to be here and hear through your lens of experience, expression, and your ways of knowing through sound. So thank you.
It's been a great pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It's gorgeous. Thank you. And thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully the medicine has reached your hearts as well. So thank you.